We'll be going live in just a moment. Just waiting on Paula, and then we will go live. Hope you guys are having a good night. All right. As you can see, this is the miniature she did the other night. I can hear her coming right now, so she'll be here any second now. But yeah, that's the Dragonborn we just left off with. I think it's pretty cool. I think it came out really well. We still got to do the bases and stuff like that. But I like it. Hey, Victor, welcome. Yes, family staying safe. Today I ran around and was looking for some foam board at the dollar stores. And I got some. So if you guys ever want to see pictures of these miniatures after they're done being painted, you can go over to our Discord in the mini painting channel, and you can see them in all their glory. You all right back there, Paula?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You stuck?
Clearly.
Do you need help?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
You having a hard time getting around the screen?
No, I'm trying to carry stuff and, you know,
And text.
call out a friend and I'm doing what I can.
All right. Did I share it here? I do not know. We've got 4 people waiting for you. Like,
oh my
hurry
gosh.
up, Paula, hurry up. Cameron was first again. He's so on top of things.
Guys, like, if somebody ever beats Cameron, like, I don't know, you're going to get a prize.
Paula's going to gift you a prize. If you pay for shipping and you buy the miniature and send it here, she'll paint it. But then you got to pick it up or come and mail it back to yourself. Cameron says, how goes it? I just got done watching some travel videos about New Orleans. I'm doing a game test this weekend with an investigation one-shot. I wrote that I'm adapting to fit in a city of jazz. Interesting. I know nothing about New Orleans, so I can't help you there. But that's cool. So, what's your plan tonight?
Man, I don't have a plan yet.
Because he's done, right? Like, other than a base.
Yeah, I just need to do, like, one night, just base everybody or whatever.
And seal them?
Yeah.
You think you're going to try and finish her tonight? Because you said she's easy. You think you can do her in one night?
Well, we're not going to be on for, like, forever tonight.
Yeah, well, I know. You're the one that said that one's easy, so that's why I was asking.
Yeah,
I think
don't
you should do
know.
the druid.
No.
No? What about the fighter with the dynamic swords? He'd be a cool one.
I don't know.
No?
I don't know, man. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Let's see what's in this box.
Shh. Victor says that is a great deal. It is. You just got to send it to us. We'll paint it. And then you come pick it up or mail it back to yourself. I think it's a great deal. And hey, we'll cover the cost of the paint. Now, here's the thing, though. Paula will not let you pick all the colors. That's just not how Paula works. She'll let you throw ideas at her, and she might use them.
Yeah, maybe if you give me like a general idea or something.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. That's acceptable.
A general idea is acceptable, according to her.
As in, like, here are some colors I like.
And she'll be like, that's nice. Take it from me. She'll just be like, that's nice. Or she'll tell you, that's boring. I mean, that's pretty accurate, wouldn't you say, Paula?
I mean, probably.
Did I not post? I didn't post it in here yet. We'll do it right there. Pow! All right. Let's do this. Let's do this. So I got down on paper that your druid still needs equipment, an animal companion, and we have to level it to 4th level.
Oh, yeah, we gotta do things.
Yup.
Forgot we had to do things.
Yeah, but it's easy.
I know what I can do.
What are you guys talking about?
What?
I don't know. Nicole, she's messaging you, but things are in hashtags. Like, why are you in a private message using
Let
hashtags?
me see.
Like, I don't understand this.
Clearly, you're not.
I mean, I read that
Um,
comment, but who uses hashtags in a private message?
Oh, no, it's because I can explain it later. It's probably
Okay.
not the best thing to explain on here.
All right. Well, I figured that based on the fact that they're the hashtags and what they say. So, anyways, all right, here. Just you focus. You're gonna do the harpy. Are you gonna do all the harpies at once so they're the same color? There's multiple.
More than one?
Yeah.
Oh, there's 3.
Harpies are a group thing. No, there should be 4, I think.
There's only 3.
Oh. Okay.
That's all you get.
But yeah. Cool. All right. So,
Yeah,
I think
so-
I'm gonna do equipment.
How do most people paint harpies? Like, what colors do most people make
Flesh
them?
color and feathers.
Oh, that sounds boring as crap.
Well, that's what harpies look like. They're like people animalistic. So that's
Yeah,
how
I
it is in
wanna
the
see
monster man. It's all
miniature.
purple
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. As I was thinking purple. This might be too.
with brown feathers.
Your lighting might be too bright here
It's never too
for
bright.
this. Like it's all just white.
That's because it's just a white miniature right now.
I
Put your
know.
colored ones in front of it. See? It's fine. Caleb, get in bed.
What? What's wrong? Okay, I want to see how people painted the miniature.
I know. I got you.
Like, search the miniature.
I will. Chill. They did this one like a dragon.
Okay.
This one's...
Click on that one in the middle.
This?
Yeah, I want to see that one. Those are better. Not quite what I was thinking.
They're more gradient.
They're better.
But they're gradient. Are you wanting to go for a gradient? I mean, the colors are all over the place.
So, I think...
They're supposed to be hideous.
I think here's the important Okay, so their legs on here, are those supposed to be scales or feathers? They're supposed to be feathers, but they look like scales.
No, I would say they're like a bird's feet. So they're not really scales either. They're like that textured bird's foot crap.
Gotcha. Okay.
You know?
So Cameron
like
says...
this is a better example.
That's way better.
See, but then there's feathers.
Yeah, and there's feathers up there. That's a good idea.
But they made... this one's like a player character, the way they made that. Like, that is not...
I see what they did. Okay. I got this.
All right. She's got this, guys. All right. Cameron says, I only hashtag things when I'm making a joke on YouTube. I tried using Twitter once to make fun of politicians. Then I realized I had to deal with their post on their stuff. So I gave up. You don't have to. You don't have to follow them. Like, if you know the politician, you just go to their thing and then say stuff to them. But yeah, you don't have to follow them. I've tweeted at people I don't follow. Don't read that out loud. It was dumb and random. LOL. Too late. Remember, we're also on a delay, so by the time you said that, I had already read it. Yeah. It's just the bird thing, bird feet. And then their feathers start around the knee, it looks like. They're layered.
Yeah, I got this. I got it.
Okay. She's got this, guys. She's got it. All right. Then I'm closing the Harpy. I'm closing the Facebook. All right. But yeah, Twitter. So a lot of people, I've heard a lot of people talk about Twitter lately who don't understand it. Someone was like, I joined Twitter once, but I felt like I had to always be on there constantly. This wasn't you, even though you said the same thing pretty much the other day. But they're like, I feel like I have to be on there constantly in order to know what's going on. And I was like, not really. Like, really, you just have to get on there. And then if you see a post that you can interact with, just interact with it. And if you want to see like if it's a follow-up to something, just click it and you'll see the 1 or 2 comments before it. And so it's easy to jump in on a conversation.
Yeah,
you don't have to follow it for days on end to be in the loop.
No, so the point that I was trying to make is
again, I wasn't talking about you. Someone else said that though.
Yeah, but a lot of times when I get on social media, it's really limited. Like, hey, I have 2 minutes. Or
that's
whatever,
all you need.
And it's like I don't have.
That's all you need.
Time.
I don't post too much on Twitter. Like I'll post, for example, if I have a question that's bothering me or something about prep that's bothering me or something I just want to ask the community, I'll post it on Twitter. And then it goes out there and whatever. Which, by the way, if you're not following me on Twitter yet, get on over there, follow me. I've got almost as many followers there as I have on YouTube. Which my Facebook page for Master the Game only has like a couple hundred. And that's been around long. Well, yeah, I think that's been around longer than my Twitter. So, yeah. Anyways, and you can join our Discord, all that good stuff. Yeah. So, anyways. Got that Patreon set up. We've got a blog, a website. Everything is in the description below. So go check that stuff out. What was I going to say? But yeah, Twitter's not that bad, man. You can tweet at people that you don't follow. The only thing I dislike about Twitter is if you're following someone, you might not know someone real well. You might see that. Like, for example, if I see that someone follows me and they've got like D&D or Tabletop RPGs in their short little bio, I'll follow them back a lot of the times. And holy cow, I went from 4 viewers to none. To 1. Anyways, we they were like, I don't want to hear about Twitter. Twitter sucks.
Yeah, let's
hang on.
skip it.
So, anyways, let me finish my thought and then we'll move on. It's not very long.
It's boring.
Whatever.
Clearly.
See, now you made me forget what I was going to say. Oh, the thing that's bad about Twitter is that like people will follow you. And okay, so go lay in bed till your hiccups are gone, buddy.
Wait.
Just a minute, guys. All right, I'll be right back. Paula's going to talk to you guys.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I got to regulate the kids.
I know, but like you're like, oh, I'm going to go on a Twitter rant and now I'm going to abandon you to the masses when I'm not even paying attention to what he's doing. I don't know. I don't listen to him very often. I guess we can talk about what I'm painting. So I'm going to paint all 3 of these Harpies. I'm going to try and do, so what I'm doing right now, and I don't typically do this, like when we do the WizKids miniatures, like when we did this guy recently, and we did this guy, I don't usually, I don't usually like prime them or anything. I'm not usually that big on it, but sometimes some of these have some issues grabbing paint. So that's what I'm doing right now, is just going through, and this is probably not what you're supposed to do, but this is what I'm doing because it's not technically a primer. But I have a huge bottle of it, so we're gonna see how it goes and hope it's gonna work out. But I have this huge bottle of gesso, and so, you know, I don't know. I feel like it's gonna work. I mean, that's what you prime a canvas with, right? I got canvas over there. That's what I put on it before I painted it, so, you know, why not? Why wouldn't it work? So I guess we're going to see how it holds up. Plus it dries really, really fast, which is always extra nice. And it's not going to become liquid again or anything like that, so you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about mixing or anything. Anyway, so I'll just throw some of that on here. I think I'm going to go with, so for these guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the bottom like bird's feet. So this will all be sort of like in a flesh tone here. Then these are going to be feathers, which will carry down into the tail. I'm going to do that in purple. Maybe potentially a little bit of green with that purple, and then these wings are mostly gonna end up being black, like more like bat wings. We have claws up here. I'm not really sure how I'm gonna handle the fact that, so these are all naked. I'm not really a huge fan of that, so I'm not sure if I'm gonna paint over that or if I'm just gonna, I don't know. I haven't figured out what I'm going to do there, but not a huge fan of the topless part, so we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I'm open to suggestions. I don't know what other people typically do. I don't know if it's a problem for some people. I just, you know, a lot of times we play with like family or kids play with them. I don't know. Seems like a good idea. Doing alright? He's sad. Doesn't want to go to bed.
Him, your daughter.
Don't make me go to sleep.
I told Lily to turn the light off because she came down the stairs.
Gabe awake?
Nope, not yet.
Caleb's
back in bed, afraid of the dark, supposedly.
It's because I'm so entertaining. All these people just showed up.
One person? It's Sudra who showed up.
You know what? I retained viewers, okay?
You did well. You maintained.
They didn't abandon.
What'd you tell them?
I explained to them my color scheme.
Ooh.
So you missed all of it. So you're just gonna pick up as we go along.
That's fine.
And I said that I'm not sure what I'm gonna do about the fact that these Harpies are topless.
You're gonna paint clothes on them just like the other ones I showed you.
So I'm not sure.
Or paint feathers over it.
I'm not sure what I'm gonna do yet. So I asked them, what do they do?
They probably don't paint Harpies. They would probably paint them topless. There's a lot of the miniatures that when we were just going through that were painted topless. So I'm gonna finish my Twitter rant.
No.
It's actually really quick and easy.
No, we're on a different topic.
No.
We're talking about the
No,
Harpies.
I can't not, or it'll be on my mind all night. I just want to say one thing. The one thing I hate about Twitter, the only thing I hate about Twitter, because I actually like Twitter, is the people that will like announce who they're unfollowing, and then it'll be, I'm unfollowing Bob because he follows Jack, who follows Jed, who is a big fan of so and so, who's an a-hole. Like, it's like this big like line of things or something, or it'll be like, because he argued with this person, I didn't agree with him, so I'm following these two people just because of their connection to him. You know, stuff like that.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay, so
some of the stuff
my
I agree with,
character that we're gonna be working on.
Yeah, equipment, 50 gold. I gotta get a pencil to do that.
And then we gotta level her up. Do we have a pencil?
We gotta do the
here?
animal companion before we do the leveling. Yeah, I have a pencil over here. I'm just trying to find it. My desk is a mess. So what's everyone up to tonight on this
like
Tuesday evening?
Personal issue.
Our BlackRock game was supposed to be like a casual game, and it's picking up people. Kind of crazy. We might have as many as 6 players by the end of the month, depending on what Paula does with our Tomb of Annihilation game.
Yeah, guys, I just don't know what to do with that game. Like, so it's a
just pick it up.
It's an in-person game, but it's a family game. It's not something that we stream or anything like that. So
we do. Oh yeah, the Tomb of Annihilation game.
Yeah, I run the game, and I don't mind running a game or anything like that. I think I usually prefer to play, but that's just really because I don't have as much extra time or free time. And so I don't know, so many people are. So my sister-in-law asked what we were going to do, if we were going to play in person again or not. Or when we were going to play again. And I said, oh, I don't know. I hadn't thought about it. So then she texted my husband and she said, I think Paula's not going to want to run this game anymore because of her promotion. And I was like,
no, you're paraphrasing incorrectly.
I mean, first of all, I said nothing about why I wasn't going to run the game. And I just, like... So my
she says,
aspect,
if you opt not to run the family game, is there any chance I could join the one that you're running with my husband?
Okay. So my concern is that it's like, I don't know. I feel like it's like too soon. Like restrictions are lifting and everybody's just like, yeah, let's do everything because it's safe. And like, I don't know, guys. I don't know that I agree with that. But
do you want to do the Druid Kit and then do the extras, by the way?
It doesn't matter.
It'll be easier because then at least you get all like the basic stuff at least.
So
here, the Druid Kit, I'll tell you, and then it has options within it. So the Druid Kit only costs 3 gold and 7 silver. You'll get leather armor, 4 javelins, a long spear, adventures pack, bandolier, holly, and mistletoe. And then options are healer's tools, which you could add on top of it.
Okay, sounds good.
You want to do that? All right, so
whatever. So I don't know whether to get the in-person game back together or not. I don't know that I feel really comfortable hanging out with people, but also like the BlackRock game is, I don't know. You get up to 6 people and it gets a little like
slow online.
Yeah, it's gonna get muddy and
it's hard to like talk and not talk over people online as it is, but the more people, that gets harder. And then it does slow games down, and I've found that online games tend to go slower anyway. It feels like like you don't advance as much.
So it would just like, I don't want to ruin the game.
I don't think you'll ruin the game. I think we should just play anyways with the family game. And And do you,
Yeah, but then I'm gonna have to hear from my mom about why they can't come over.
I didn't say anything
out.
about coming over. We can play with them online, like I told you earlier. It would be very easy. There's 3 of them. There's 2 of us. Right? That's 4 players. It's very easy to set up.
Okay.
It won't, like, it'll be perfectly fine online. It's just like all of our other online games. 4 players, 1 DM. You know what I mean? But yeah, even Victor says 6 people is a lot to DM for. Yeah, I agree. And right now we're at 5. We just brought 2 in to replace 1. We had 4. So yeah, we're up to 5 now, which I think I can manage 5. We'll see if it's too much. I don't know what we'll do, but we'll see how it's going. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, the family game too, it's just a different dynamic. Like we started the BlackRock game originally because Andy's wife and I had talked, and
my brother,
yeah, who's in the game, she had said, you know, obviously we're playing Tomb of Annihilation, but I think he would like a game without me and his kids in it. So we started it for that, and now she wants to be in it, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that, but I just thought it was kind of funny that she originally said he should probably play in a game that we're not in, and now she's wanting in on it. So I don't know. It doesn't bother me, but I just think it's funny. All right, leather armor is worn items. Okay. I don't know what a readied item is, but we'll just put. I'm gonna do it just like I did my other one. I'm gonna put every single item into this column. 4 javelins, a long spear. Yeah. So Victor said, I think I may have read this. Oh, did I tell you what Cameron said? I'd just leave it alone, but I don't have kids. You could paint a shirt on her, but the harpy will still probably look naked. I don't think it has a nipple, though. I don't think it has an actual nipple, so you could paint over it. Victor says, I am staying out of the hot weather. The dogs are getting short walks in this kind of weather. And then he said the 6 people are a lot to DM for, which I agree. It's warm and muggy here, too. Cameron says, most of my games are 1 player. I dread the day I have 6. Wait, you play one player
games?
Yeah, I mean, I've done that. We've done that a couple times, but yeah, I'm surprised to hear that, actually. Long spear. Interesting. Adventurers pack, so I will highlight everything.
Why do you think you end up with more 1-player games? I don't know a ton of people who run like 1-player games.
You might live in the boonies or something. And healer's tools. Yeah, that is kind of surprising to me, the whole 1-player thing. I don't know a lot of people who run predominantly 1-player games. In fact, I rarely hear that. I heard of a lot of people doing that back in the day with like a sibling when they picked up like the old white box or red box D&D, and like, so I heard about it in the past, but I haven't heard that recently. So again, very, very interesting. All right, what's in an adventurer's pack? Let's find out. Is that in the next page? It might be. It might not be. Adventures pack. Come on. Is it? Where is this stuff?
I don't know.
Adventures pack. All right. It has a backpack. Yay.
Shocking.
What else? Bedroll. Yay, bedroll. What else? 2 belt pouches. Okay.
In case I get lots of money and they don't fit.
No, it's because certain things can only be carried on the outside, like potions and stuff.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yup.
Whatever, I was just trying to joke around.
They actually, yeah, there's other things. I don't know. Someone was explaining it to me, or I saw somebody explain in a video or something. I don't know. Everything blends together lately. I'm so, like, worn out. 50 feet of rope. 2 weeks rations. Okay, what else? 2 weeks rations. Soap. 5 torches. And a water skin. Okay, so Victor said, maybe with social media it is easier to get in a quick one-on-one game. Yeah, maybe. Cameron said, yeah, they rock. One-player games are fast and have high immersion. You can have really deep stories, too. There are downsides, but I also see downsides in games with more than 3 people. Is that your phone?
Probably. Will you stop reading my messages?
It's right next to me. What? What? You talking smack about me?
No.
I didn't know it was so, like, top secret. Anyways, what do you think the downsides are with, like, 3 or 4 players? I'm just curious.
Probably trying to get in enough time as an individual player. Like, you don't get as much time to do whatever it is you want to do. There's more debates about what direction you're going in. What are we going to do as a group, right?
Yeah, but I don't feel like that happens a lot.
Are we going to help this guy? We're not going to help this guy. Yeah, that's because there's usually...
It only happens in the family game we play, I feel like.
Because it's usually because in other games, everybody just caves to whoever the person is who's not going to give up their position.
I don't know about that. I mean, yes, in some games I see that, for sure. So this has... So, all right, so your healer's tools have bandages, herbs, and suturing tools. Okay, cool. Yeah, she was talking smack the whole time you were away, Juice.
I mean, that's basically what I do when you're not here.
That's not nice.
So I just talk about how terrible you are.
I don't understand. That's apparently what you do on your phone with your friends. That's why I'm not allowed to read the comments.
It's just like weird that you're like...
It's you have it between me and the book. You
yeah,
me
that's
to charge
because you and there's nowhere else to put it.
I know. And it's lit up. What do you want me to do? It's like, look at me, look at me. You've done that to me too. Not lately because nobody texts me anymore, but you used to. All right. So that means you would still have 41 gold. You have a ton of gold still. Do you want to look at magic items later?
Can you go back through what I already have?
It's all on the sheet here. So
great, but like
I was not done talking. Stop. Leather armor, 4 javelins, long spear, an adventurer's pack. The adventurer's pack includes a backpack, bedroll, 2 belt pouches, 10 pieces of chalk, flint and steel, 50-foot rope, 2 weeks rations, soap, 5 torches, and a water skin. You have a bandolier, holly and mistletoe, healer's tools, and inside of that would be bandages, herbs, and suturing tools. That's what you have. Now, in Pathfinder, you can buy magic items. I'm not going to read all the magic items. If you want to go through that later, you can.
Yeah, no, I'm already aware of that.
And you have enough gold to probably buy a thing or two still with that. Otherwise, if there's something in particular you can think of off the top of your head that you would want.
I'll do it later.
Okay. I was going to say I could do it.
No, I'll do it later because I'm going to have to go through the entire character anyway.
Okay. Well, I mean, when you're entering it into Fantasy Grounds, you'll be able to do it there too. Like, that'll be a good spot to do it because you'll be able to find things quickly too. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So it should be a good place to do that. I'm assuming we'll probably try and do something Sunday morning. Maybe I can set up a Zoom call for you guys, and you can do your character then. And then when you're done, I'll jump in and do mine. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Okay. Cameron said, I mainly play them because I'm a recluse and I've had bad luck with players. I get a lot of people who either care too little about the game or care way too much. I hesitate to find players online. We found a lot of our people online. Like a lot of people online.
Look how it's like a torrential downpour outside.
Yeah, that corner's going to get soaked.
Like literally just went from no rain to like it's pretty loud.
Yep, Lily's sweatshirt's out there. It's going to be great. Not that she needs it. And by the time she can probably wear it again, she'll outgrow it anyway. All right. Animal companion. Oh, he said, I think that groups of larger than 3 people often leads to bored players, especially in combat. It also dilutes the story attention you can pay to each character. I spent my early D&D years as player. Yeah, I agree. I kind of worry.
I strongly agree with that.
Yeah, I worry online games getting even 4 online for me seems like a lot, but I like to have 4 because I've noticed even if the players don't fill the main roles, players like to feel like all the bases are covered. Like, oh, we need a healer, we need a rogue, we need a wizard. Personally, I don't give a crap about that, but I've noticed players really seem to care about that. You know?
Well, I think that's because only some DMs will give you things to adjust for that. Like, hey, I don't have a healer, so they throw you a couple extra potions of healing, or make it a little bit easier for you to do a rest or whatever. But there are a lot of people who don't adjust the storyline. They don't care who you have and who you don't have. You should be able to make it through regardless. And I think that's why people do that, is because some people will do that, especially if it comes to a module or something like that, which I think a lot of people run. You know, they just do.
Yeah, I don't adjust modules usually, unless it tells
whatever. You to. I don't know. I adjust Tomb of Annihilation all the time. Because it's I'm not sure. I don't really like that exactly that way. So I'll adjust it. Then there's some stuff that it's oh, you'll be fine. Right? But right. I adjust things up. I also adjust things down, though, too.
I don't think I have to do anything with the animal companion, actually. It's just in here the way it is. It's basically a stat block.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I don't have to worry about that.
That's what I would expect.
Well, that was different from the familiars. So the familiars are specialized animal companions. And it's got it doesn't have stat blocks, it just has different types. And it just gives you the one thing that they do differently, I think. So I don't know how that works. So either way, but you got an animal companion, so that's fine. All right, cool. Yeah, I agree because I don't adjust things in modules.
Yeah, so that makes it frustrating if you're that person.
But modules will tell you what they're made for. If they're made for 4 to 6 players, I play it with 4 to 6 players.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't. They run the same thing. And they don't change it, and they only have 3 people. So then that, kind of makes you scarred about it, right? Because your characters just keep dying.
Yeah, I don't know. Because I've played campaigns where my characters kept dying, and I still didn't care if we had a healer or not. But I don't know. I only get mad if I feel like I'm cheated. a rule, like if a rule is done wrong and it feels like the DM didn't care and that's what did me in, that'll bother me. I've had that happen and I didn't say anything about it before. I've had PvP where it was completely unfair, where the player did it and my character was in no situation where he could even defend himself. That bothered me. And that also bothered me because we spent so much time talking about this game and it was that character's first session in that game. So that really bothered me. Not like, oh my gosh, what a jerk, I quit the game. But it was frustrating. Snyder said the last D&D 5th edition game I did, there were local healers around. Yeah, like, I think one of the things in the player's handbook based on backgrounds is if you share the same deity, you can get magical healing, at least for yourself. If you go to, like, a temple, say, like, your deity is...
Oh, yeah, that's always been around.
Whatever.
Now.
So you get free healing and free lodge. Your friends don't, but you do.
Yeah,
so,
but that's been there for a while. Nobody cares.
Yeah, but it matters.
Yeah, but not everybody uses those rules.
Right.
Like, and allows that stuff.
I don't have players that seek it out. Think about it. There's so many things we don't have in our, like, the games we've played. Like, you know, all the times we've played. I can't think of polymorph spell ever coming into effect, for example. That's a really common spell.
Yeah, but we don't play as, you know.
As what? Wizards? We've had wizards.
Yeah, but not a lot. Everybody's always worried about combat.
Sure, but polymorph's effective in combat.
Yeah, I suppose.
I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of things in 5th edition I haven't experienced from the players that I hear people deal with all the time in their games. That was just one example. I've maybe had one or two games that didn't have a healer. And
really?
At the most. And they quickly adjust it. Like, oh, we buy a bunch of healing potions. Oh, now we're taking that feat that allows you to spellcast, you know, level dip, or oh, we're gonna level dip in cleric now. You know, like, no matter what, the players do that kind of stuff.
Victor says, fair point. Players never ask for things from the NPCs.
Right.
I mean, so
they don't.
Yes.
We don't have a rogue. We don't try to hire a rogue. Remember when we tried to do that in 2nd edition with your brother and he was kind of surprised?
But also, I would disagree with that because I also feel like, I mean, I guess I think the majority of people playing are not playing like you do or, you know, running games to, like, I don't know. I feel like we know a lot of people who are involved in D&D and have a different method than what other people do.
Yeah, but
I think there's a lot of people who are less experienced, right? There are a lot of people who play who haven't read the entire book or don't even own a book, right? And so it's like, how are those people supposed to know those rules and stuff like that?
They know that they want the core 4 roles covered. It's enough to complain about it. Yeah, but
because that's what people have, like, ingrained in them.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I agree.
I don't think player agency is given a lot.
But that's not player agency.
Yeah, but it is for you to go out of your way to ask an NPC for something.
What do you mean go out of your way?
Because, so, let's say you decide that you're going to go ask an NPC for something, right? So many people get turned down so frequently that you stop asking. Like, you don't keep asking over and over again.
I don't you know? I don't know, because I don't think
that is player agency. Like, you're adding
player
to
agency is
the
when you
story.
take away, like, you tell the player what they're doing.
Story. The player's adding to the story.
But that's not adding to the story. That's simply...
is. They're trying to change the story, and it wasn't the direction that...
How does whether you have a rogue or not change the story? It just changes the tools you have in the game.
In general. Like, hey, I want to go and see, like, oh, is there a temple with my deity here, and I want them to heal me, and that was not what the DM wanted you to do. So now he's just going to say, oh, no.
You're talking about railroading. You're trying to say that they railroad you to not even let you go into a town and talk to NPCs, it sounds like. Because the story is meant to not be in town or something. Right? Is that what you're trying to say?
Never mind.
So, like, okay, if the DM puts you in a tavern, why can't you ask people if they know of somebody for hire?
So you can.
But why
But what
wouldn't
I'm
they?
saying is that so many people get turned down over and over again and just like, oh, no, you can't do that.
How are they turned down if they never ask, though?
But they do. Like, what I'm saying is that people do ask and they've put it out there, but if you get turned down enough, I've never been allowed to hire anybody more than just a guide. Like, who will escort you to a certain area, and they never do anything, and that's what they do. You know?
Okay. I mean...
I'm just saying, I've never played in a game and been allowed to do anything.
You have with me as a player next to you. We did it in that one game where we had 6 players. We were still able to hire a rogue or whatever we hired. I think it was a rogue. Remember? Because your brother, as the DM, then had to... He's like, yeah, don't worry. He's hiding in shadows. You can't see him.
Oh, yeah, but he didn't do anything. So it didn't matter.
That's typically what an NPC does. They don't do anything in combat.
That's what I'm just saying.
In combat, they don't, though. All right, so we missed a couple things. So Cameron said, I want to try Tomb of Annihilation again with the DM who is willing to spice up the slog when the players get bored. The group I ran with didn't roleplay much, but the DM also didn't provide opportunities. Cameron F., if the entertainment value is on the line, I'd rather change a module or play a changed module. Okay. We never hired people in all of the games I've played. I didn't even know it was an option until a few years ago.
See?
Some things, yeah, but he said he just didn't know it was an option. Has nothing to do with being rejected. Some things need to be suggested by the DM. Video games still affect how people think. Yes, I do agree that video games affect how people think. Especially newer games where you're very limited in who you can bring into your party. There was a game.
So I did say though that people don't know that. Like,
yeah, I agree with that. I do. I do think one of the biggest issues is bringing anybody new into tabletop RPGs is they have limited beliefs in what you can and can't do. They see the mechanics of the game and they think that's all that they can do. And if they don't know the mechanics, they don't try to do it. Right? That's the biggest hurdle with RPGs. But in RPGs, you can do freaking anything. Like, it really is limitless. That's the point.
Yeah, but sometimes it's hard, you know?
I understand like when perception makes it hard.
Somebody brings you in and they don't necessarily, like, even right now, like, we're making a Pathfinder character for me. I'm reading none of it. I've read nothing about my character.
Inside. Yeah, I brought the book inside.
You know, yeah, but like, you know, so you've said like, oh yeah, you know, we'll do it like on stream while you're painting and stuff like that, and that's great. But also now I know nothing about my character. So when you guys
you're blaming me though, but I've brought the book and handed it to you when you said to, and you didn't read it.
You did it one time.
I've tried to do it like 3 times.
So, like, you guys are talking about rules, and so I don't really know anything yet still.
Okay.
Because it's hard to do one task while somebody else is reading to you and think I'm going to retain it because I don't retain well from listening anyway.
Okay. So we can stop doing your character and I can just work on mine if that's easier.
You know, so I'm just saying, like, that makes it hard, though. And I think that's how a lot of people are introduced to games. You know, somebody else makes a character for them, you know.
I think starting with the pre-gen is the best way to get into a game anyway. Like, the choices for a brand new person, if you've never played any RPGs, are too much. I really think so, especially when you're talking about D&D and Pathfinder. Like, I think it's better to be given a simple, non-spellcasting class. Pathfinder, no matter what's going to be a little, in my opinion, too crunchy for a beginner. not that they can't learn. I just think that it's an uphill battle. But like in 5e, I think almost everybody should really start with a champion fighter, first level, and just figure out the basics. That way, once they can handle it, move them on to a new character.
Yeah, but if you're not interested in that, character, then it's not worth learning about.
Sure, but you
like if you
throwing
don't
a wizard at someone, they're gonna think this game is too difficult. I'm never gonna remember it, and they're never gonna come back anyway.
If you don't like the character, then what's the motivation for learning how to play it? Because you're just like, oh, this character sucks. This is not what I want to do. I want to do what that other guy is doing.
I never force. Well, character. First off, before we get into that, like, I never force anyone to do that. Ever.
No, but I'm just saying.
I always suggest that. That is always what I suggest.
That's the advice you just gave out.
Yeah, and I suggest that to people when they start too. I say this is going to be the easiest thing to play, and I tell them right up front that a wizard's probably going to be the absolute hardest thing to play. And starting out, you can, and I've let everybody do exactly what they wanted. Finch wanted to, when he started with us, he wanted to play a rogue assassin, but he didn't pay attention enough to understand how the character even worked. You know what I mean? We've had that happen with other people who were first timers, where they were like, yeah, I want to play this. I never swayed them out of it, but it was too much for them to handle. I've played with so many people who tried to do something that was too much, and they told me the game was a little bit hard to comprehend, when it came to the mechanics of the character.
Yeah, but I also don't, a lot of times I don't understand things the way you explain them.
It's not about the way I explain it. Like, when I ran Adventures League, there wasn't a ton of time to explain anything, And usually I would have somebody who knew how to do the class explain it to them next to them, if anything, because I'm running the game, We've done that in our games, too, where you sat next to Finch when he was playing the rogue assassin so that you could help him, remember? You know what I mean? So, because as a DM, I'm usually focused on the game and the story rather than teaching every single person how to play. And we've had a few games where we've had brand new people, around the table almost. Whether it was like my sister and her husband or, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess I just do think that there's a lot of value to,
To what?
To making a character and making your own character in the way that you want to make it.
I think it causes incentive, or it creates some incentive, but at the same time, like, when you take somebody who has trying to talk to somebody about fantasy RPGs who does not have any background or previous interest in fantasy RPGs, Finch, for example, is very difficult. You know what I mean? Like, have you had that situation where you've had someone who wasn't into Lord of the Rings, maybe they played Skyrim, but that was about it? Like, it's hard,
No, usually...
That was Finch. Finch doesn't like Lord of the Rings or anything.
You just kind of take over. Like...
You said you played D&D for 15 years before me. What happened in those 15 years?
I didn't ever play with new people.
Okay.
I always played in established groups and stuff.
Okay.
And with people who had played before.
So what happened?
I really had to teach
What
people.
happened when you made the character with Allie? Because I wasn't there for that. I don't know how that all went. Did that seem to go fine and she seemed to get it all?
Yeah, she didn't really have a whole ton of questions.
Okay.
She had a couple... there were a couple times where, she, wasn't sure. She was like, oh, I'm not really sure. And I'm like, well, if you want, you want your character to go this route, you could do this. Or if you want them to go this route, you could do this.
Okay. So I think we're off topic a little bit. So Victor had said a while back, fair point. Players never ask for things from NPCs. So I've seen the complete opposite in a lot of games I've played. I know newer players don't. But I've seen it a ton. I've had people try to hire people the barmaids before just to carry their stuff. I've had some crazy stuff happen in games. So, Victor says, I think Paula is right about some DMs. We need to remember that the DM and PCs are both creating the story. I 100% agree with that. I don't think necessarily hiring a NPC along or not, though, determines the story. In fact, You guys hired some people in our old game that we played where we were in like, what were we calling it? Pine Run. You guys hired people then. You don't remember that?
No.
Yeah, you had hired some people when you were going off after the vampires and stuff. Guides who don't do anything shouldn't exist. Just give the players a map. Yeah, you could do that. I don't have a problem with that. I think sometimes DMs use NPCs as a tool to sometimes leave players vulnerable, it seems. Like, why else do you give them a useless guide who can't defend themselves? You know, that seems like the only reason is more, that is like a story device rather than anything else.
So, I would say my, like, only situation for that is really, like, when we played Tomb of Annihilation.
Mm-hmm.
Or we're playing Tomb of Annihilation, and I gave you guys a guide, and the guide didn't really do anything, but that's because I hate playing NPCs, but I was trying to follow the module.
Right, but that's the same issue we had with the other Tomb of Annihilation game. And now we have 2 more NPCs that have joined us that now we have.
I know, I hate having NPCs. I'm going to get rid of them. That's my plan. You guys are supposed to have them, but I'm going to get rid of them.
You weren't as of like 2 sessions ago.
No, because I really do hate having to worry about them. They're annoying.
I mean, you don't have to worry about them. Like, you've already offered us control of them. Remember?
Yeah, but, you know, it's not the best choice in Tomb of Annihilation. There's some story aspect to it.
Alright, I'm emailing you your Druid character sheet.
So, guys, I know this purple is looking, like, really bright, but it's gonna get toned down. So, like, don't worry. I know you guys are all panicking at home. You're concerned.
I'm also going to send you a blank character sheet.
You're worried that this Harpy is going to be neon. And won't be respected by the other Harpies. But it's going to be okay. We're going to make it through.
Jimmy said, we hired 2 NPCs to help fire our wagon ballista. That was their only job. See, that works. I think that makes a lot of sense, too. Like, you had a very, like, specific role for them. Like, I think that's fine. Like, especially, for example, if characters are willing to split the treasure, like, say there's 3 players, and they want a 4th character that's, like, a cleric, and they want him for the healing. And they decide, yeah, we'll split the treasure 4 ways for that character to just heal us. Like, that's fine. That's all that needs to happen. Like, they heal you occasionally kind of thing. And other than that, they try to stay out of the way. It's like Jubilee in the X-Men. Kind of pointless. Every now and then might do one thing cool. Like, but for the most part, doesn't get involved.
But basically it just shoots off, like, bright light every
Well, that's what she does, yeah.
You know.
Alright, so there's the 2 sheets.
But yeah, I mean, I think that people don't always try and hire a lot of people because they don't realize they can do it, and other people have ruined it for them before, or they just get turned down. You know?
Yeah, I guess I've never really had a lot of people ask, so I don't know how. I just don't know if being turned down is something that happens that much. That's all. I don't know. Why is it doing? Okay.
You've never been turned down for a.
Yeah, but that, like, I've been turned down
NPC?
for various reasons. Like, well, not an NPC, but because I don't usually ask, because I don't usually care. But no, like, I've been turned down for things. But, like, I've went and just asked the DM outside a game later, like, is it because of the town we were in, or are you just not willing to do that? You know, like, I'm willing to have the out-of-game conversation to understand why. You know what I mean? Because, like, I might ask, hey, do they have magic items for sale in this 500-person town? Yeah. No, you can't buy magic items. Oh, okay, cool. Later on. If we go to a big city, would they have magic items for sale? You know what I mean? Like, Yes or no?
I mean, I get that. Cameron said, yeah, but players generally hate babysitting. I'd say a guide is much more valuable as a device to show off the dangers in the area. I mean, I think that's a good point. Like, because too, so if you, the other option you have as a DM is to make the character and give the NPC to the players. But that character never ends up having, like, you know, any personality or anything going on or anything interesting
But did you give them personality when you handed the NPC over? Because again,
it just depends.
So when I played in a game with Brian, you remember Brian, who came over, he had the mead and everything that he would bring. When I played in some games with him, we did Out of the Abyss. He had NPCs that he made up that we could travel with, and it had like a paragraph about who they were, like so you could role play them. It had some key stats, so if you had to control them in combat, you could, and that was that, you know. And so, and we had people at the table who could role play it. So I think, again, that comes from the Dungeon Master. If the Dungeon Master, like the side kit cards for the Essentials kit, those have some personality and flair on them. Like if you give that to a player at your table, say, hey, here's your guide, now they have something to go based off of. But if you give them just a stat block, there's nothing to role play anyway. You know what I mean? So you can really encourage people to do stuff. But again, you have to just do a little bit of the work up front, or print something out and not do the work that has it for you.
I don't know that I've ever had a DM give me an NPC with any sort of information other than just a stat block.
Mm-hmm. I believe that. I believe that because I don't think most NPCs, again, like where are people learning how to DM? They're learning to DM from other people who DM, right? There's not like a really good resource out there that has all these tips. Like there's a couple like books that are non-Wizards of the Coast. It's like third-party publisher chapter books that have like some decent DM tips. There's some YouTubers who do these kinds of videos and give these little tips.
I feel like, you read like you have a player's guide and you have a Dungeon Master guide, but I don't know that it really tells you. It doesn't lend itself as well, I feel like, to like role playing. Like it doesn't really tell you how to play the game.
Oh, 100%. Someone once told me, they're like, if you look at D&D 5e, yes, there's rules, but there is nothing in there that tells you how to play the game. As a DM, it doesn't tell you how to set up the game, how to paint the picture, how to start a campaign, how to start an adventure.
How to write the story.
Any of it. It doesn't tell you how to prep. It does not tell you how to actually play an adventure. Like how to do it. It just gives you rules for things and what to roll. That's it. And I didn't believe him at first. I was like, bull crap. I was like, yeah, it does. And I mean, I know how to play, so at least I know how to play how I play. Because again, everyone does it different. But then like I went in there and I was like, he's freaking right. It tells you how to create a character. Great. Yeah. So now I have these numbers. It tells you like, okay, what your background is with these things you've rolled up. Cool. But yeah, it does not tell you how to put a game together and how to run it for your players. And if you're all brand new, you're really screwed. Even a module kind of does. It tells you, read this out loud to your players. And then it tells you what's going on. But that's it. It doesn't tell you, what to do with that information, how to use it.
Yeah, or what to do, like, hey, your characters get off script. Or, they do something that's going to mess up the story later. How do you account for that? Or what's a good way to,
Right.
Yeah, it just doesn't do the best job of that. You have to learn almost from somebody.
Or on your own.
Else, yeah.
So Cameron says, when I DM single-player adventures, I supply them ally NPCs that can be played by the players in combat, and I allow them spell choice for prepared casters. I do all the role-playing for the ally NPC. So Cameron, I've done that too for Paula. We did, the first time we ever did Pathfinder, she was playing an Oracle, and I told her that character's a little squishy. Why don't you make some kind of a martial class? So she made one. I role played it, and then she controlled it. And it was like a Oread Barbarian, which is like a rock creature barbarian. Or a fight. I think it was a barbarian you went with. And yeah, I agree. And I'll be honest, I still think I suck as a DM. Like, I do not think I'm good. I've had people say I'm good. I don't think I am. I think they're just enjoying the fact that I run the game and they don't have to DM. But yeah, Jimmy Cunningham says, I ran Tomb of Annihilation for my group. They had a guide and 5 porters. Not only did they have a contract with the guide, but also with the porters. The PCs considered the NPCs as part of their expedition. That makes sense. We lost our guide in Tomb of Annihilation, and we have Dragonbait. Is that his name? Dragonbait or Goblin Bait or I don't remember his name. Dragonbait, and then the Ranger guy, I think.
Artist Simber.
Yeah, those guys. So we have those 2 with us, and we're only like level 5 or 6. And honestly, since we've picked those 2 up, I think we're all cool with that. Oh, we also have the Wizard's Guardian or whatever it is. Shield Guardian or something that we just got. So we have a couple cool things that I think we've started to accept having these NPCs with us. But yeah, normally I'm anti NPCs with the party, unless, again, it's an undermanned group and I want to do certain things in the campaign or something. Cameron says, I immensely enjoy role-playing, so I don't mind the load. It's different for other people. Some DMs might find what I do insane, but it works for me. LOL. Yeah,
So in Tomb of Annihilation, I think later, everything just scales out of control, and so that's why they give you NPC. Because, like, throughout...
I think they do it to show off the deadliness of some of the traps.
Throughout the entire module, it's like, oh, if they haven't met this character or this NPC yet, those 2 guys, you know, oh, they would be here, and this is the scenario that would be happening here. And if they still haven't met them yet, then here's the scenario when they enter this place.
They keep putting them in front of you.
Yeah, like, you have to take them almost. It's just like, oh, I don't want these guys. You know, what if I don't want them?
So I think in that module, the reason they give you those NPCs is because of some of the lethalness of some of the traps or the encounters later on. And it's a perfect way to scare your players, especially if they're controlling those NPCs and they take, 50-some damage from a trap. You know what I mean?
I mean, maybe, yeah.
Think about it. Give that character to Erica. Have that character take 67 points of damage because she wasn't being careful in a dungeon, and she's going to lose her mind. She'll be like, we're leaving. We're not staying for this.
I'm not going to be here any longer.
Right. The Shield Guardian is my bane. My group of players have been playing since '83 and very tactical. So
the Shield Guardian I love because it doesn't have to have, like, it's just like... You know.
A stat block?
Yeah.
Weren't we just talking about stat blocks? Cameron says, oh God, the high-level NPCs. They ruined our game. We should have died because the majority of the party made a big mistake. But they were all saved, and it felt really bad. We stopped playing shortly after. I think it depends on the group. Like, our group is very... they're not comfortable with character death. And so that's one of the things that we're kind of dealing with in that game. We actually had a big talk after a session, and at the beginning of a session, like 3 weeks afterwards, because of how poorly they took one character dying. My character died too, but I was like, guys, it doesn't matter, like whatever. And they didn't understand how I could stay so calm. So that's one of the hurdles we have in that game. But I think the more they play in the games we play, that we run, I think they'll learn to be more accepting of it. You know? Like, I think they've already loosened up a little bit. Not much, but they've loosened up. It would seem drastic to us, but to other people, they would go, wow, they're really sensitive about their characters. You know what I mean?
Yeah, probably. That's probably true.
So yeah, I mean, it is what it is. But we've talked about it with them, and we'll see what happens moving forward. You know. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have a problem giving players certain things like NPCs. I have a problem when characters make their or when players make their characters so good at one thing that the rest of the party has to suffer for it, or that it's almost unbelievable that something like Paul's character that had the really high passive perception, like it was almost unbelievable for anything to surprise the group because of that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So then I even felt like I was rigging the game sometimes if something did somehow get past that. You know what I mean? Like I felt guilty about it. Like, man, he built his character and I managed to still get these two things by him. You know what I mean? Um, so stuff like that kind of bothers me. Or like the one thing I've always said about 5e is that armor class is really OP. Like if you have a sorcerer with a 14 armor class and you have another character, a fighter, a barbarian, whatever, with a 23 AC, like that is going to be to make a challenging encounter for them is going to be really crappy for that sorcerer.
Yeah, but it's always been like that. That's not a new thing.
Yes and no. I mean, sure, I agree, but that's usually because players will build their characters to be a certain way. Again, I'm fine with it.
I feel like it used to be harder because you couldn't you couldn't just take a feat to, figure out how to use armor or whatever.
Well, you're talking about second edition.
No, and I guess you could in 3.5.
3.5, you can do practically anything.
You had to take so many feats to make it feel like, oh, this is useful.
Right.
So I don't know that that's the best.
The problem with it that I've seen players, not in any of my games, thankfully, but I've seen people in other games freak out about, and I've heard stories about, like, oh, we went into this dungeon and the martial characters ran up to fight the whatever it was, the hobgoblins with magical plate armor, and it was actually a fair fight for them, but oh wait, we got ambushed behind us by hobgoblins and it was a slaughtering of our spellcasters, right? But hobgoblins are tactical, like they would set up ambushes like that, right? So the DM was like, look, I felt bad, like my players made me feel bad, but at the same time, like, what was I to do in order to make the encounter challenging, I don't think the DM did anything wrong. I think the players should have adapted on the fly, but they didn't. It sounds like they just, well, we're engaged up here, spellcasters are back there, they have to fend for themselves. You know what I mean? Like, there were no tactics from the players. But that's the other problem. You see people, like, get engaged with the monsters, and that's it. They just stand there and hack it out.
Yeah, but that's also a problem too, because so you're playing a character, let's say that, oh, okay, I was a soldier and I was an officer and whatever. I have this military background, but you as a player don't have that information. So that's up to the DM to say, oh, hey, you would know that because you've been in this situation before that you have an opportunity to maybe do X, Y, or Z. But if nobody does that... You realize
that's taking away player agency, right?
No, but you can say, like, hey, you have an opportunity to do this.
Sure.
Like, you don't know everything that your characters know, so...
I agree with that, because I would probably say I'm like a intelligence 9, and I don't think I've ever played a character that stupid. No, I'm just kidding. My barbarian is that stupid though. I get it, but at the same time, I don't think that they necessarily know they're going to be ambushed.
No, I'm not saying that they know that they're going to be ambushed, but they might say,
But once it happens, for none of the players to even try to do anything other than, well, I'm just going to hit the one that's closest to me. Like, that's the most common thing you hear. I'm going to hit the one that's closest to me. I'm going to hit the one that's closest to me. You know what I mean? That's what I've told. Like I've tried to explain to some of our groups before. Like, well, this is what I think they would do, but it's your character. Do what you want. You know what I mean? Like I don't like to tell people how to play their character, so I don't. But like when they ask, or if there's downtime to talk about it, I do say stuff then. You know?
Yeah, but I don't know. Not everybody.
Like I don't tell our cleric, no, heal
Does
me,
those
heal
type of
that person
things.
because you need to. Like, you know what I mean? I never
Like
tell them.
some
to do
people
that.
don't want to talk out of game about the game. I feel like
Cameron's
Sometimes
probably
it's
like
hard.
that. So Cameron's. Uh,
We're behind.
no, we're not.
Oh,
So
we're
Jimmy
not.
said, or they are so good at everything where one person shines and everybody sits there. Yes. So I hate a player.
That's the worst.
I hate characters that will do all your social, all your rogue stuff, and all the combat stuff. Like they're just like, I'm gonna do everything. That's a spotlight hog. That is a problem with the player that needs to be talked about out of game. 100%. We had that talk with one of our players once. It got better. Hurry up, Cameron, hurry back. He said a friend called. He had to jump out. But I think there's a huge problem with spotlight hogs. I see that more when there's drinking at the table. Like when you have people who are throwing back more than a couple drinks. I've seen a lot of spotlight hogs come out in that situation. Outside of that, I've seen it a couple times, but not too much, luckily. I also know I'm pretty lucky with a lot of the groups I've had. Melchior said, I'm playing a wizard with intelligence 18 currently. It's a natural fit for me. I'm sure it is, man. So, like, but so what I was saying is, you have, it's almost like groups should talk about different scenarios. Like, what happens if this happens? And they should talk about it before it happens. Like, for example, what if we get ambushed from behind? Like, I've never seen a group talk about that. You know what I mean?
But again,
But it comes up. I try to encourage that talk when I'm a player in a game.
Some people.
But I'm usually the martial class, so it doesn't matter.
Some people don't want, some people just don't.
You can do it in character, though.
Like, they just keep going, like, I don't have time for this.
Right.
Type of thing. Like, so it's hard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually try to give players and their characters chances to role play, like, while they're traveling, when nothing's really going on. Like, I really do leave openings for it, I feel. And I've had some players who will take me up on that. Like, you'll see that they'll start talking to the character about what happened in the last encounter, or, things that I've given, like, information I've given one of the players, I've seen come up a little bit in those situations. It's been kind of nice. Melchior says, all the wisdom I have is gained from experience. Charisma? What's that? Melchior, I'd argue you have more charisma than intelligence. I'm not going to say what those scores would be.
If you just, insulted him or gave him a compliment.
I was trying to joke.
They may be upset.
I'm sure Melchior will be fine. Melchior is a good spirit. A good sport. That's what I meant. Melchior is a good sport. He knows he is. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of things that kind of go with it. There's challenges. Like, my biggest challenge as a DM is giving good hooks that all the players are going to bite on. I don't know how to do it, because if you're playing to the RP aspect of it and really playing to the characters, not all the characters have the exact motivations. And like you said before, you have some players who are just, they'll stand pat on what they think their character would do. They're like, it's what my character would do. Or my character wouldn't kill the goblin no matter what. They just stick with that one thing no matter what. And so how do you get, those basically are the people that you need to really try to get the motivation to.
Yeah,
but at the same time,
the
game gets boring for the
everybody
others.
Else.
Exactly.
So you can't do that either.
Right.
Because then you have a problem.
Yeah. Victor says, I try talking about basic plans, nothing to detail. who was first in a cave, and so on. Milkier says, I posted on the previous video about my fruitless search for miniatures locally. Yeah, I saw that. I thought I replied. I didn't reply yet. I just think I liked it then. So, yeah, you're just going to have to order online. Amazon has all these miniatures we're painting, Reaper Bones. I would, again, really recommend WizKids. WizKids miniatures are the best value for the dollar. Like I said, you get 2 for like $4, $5. So $2.50 each one. They're better than the Reaper Bones. This one right here is like a $3 miniature, just so you have an idea. And it's a softer plastic. It doesn't take to paint as well because they're not pre-primed. Sometimes they have like a residue on it from the mold that they come out of. So I would definitely recommend the WizKids ones. Australia doesn't seem to be as big on D&D as America, or maybe it's that where I live just doesn't have enough players to make it worthwhile. You said you lived in the sticks, man. That's got to be what it is. So yeah, you're definitely gonna I know people in Australia that play. You know, we're talking about Dead Aussie Gamer. We're talking about DMG Info. I don't think he's over there anymore, right? He lives there now. He's originally from South Africa, I think, is what the deal is there. I could be wrong on that. Maybe he's not over there. In fact, I think he's made fun of me for not knowing before. And he tells me all the time and I always forget. So, sorry.
Now it's just like a running joke.
But either way, whatever. But I do know people in Australia who play. If you're in any Facebook groups, I'm sure you can find some D&D people there. And they might be able to tell you what they do for miniatures.
Yeah, post in one of the big 5e groups.
But I mean, either way, you're going to pay markup. So you might as well just order the exact ones you want.
Well, but see,
from WizKids' website. I know shipping's expensive.
The problem is the shipping, and then you want it to make sense for the transportation. So it's probably difficult.
Right.
To manage.
Dude, we use cheap craft paint.
And if
we don't use special paint like any of the Vallejo or anything.
Yeah. I mean, so some of it is cheap craft paint, and some of it is fine art paint.
Here.
So it's a combo.
This is the paint. Craft Smart. This is most of our paint. We do have other stuff, but...
And I use a lot of Liquitex. I like the...
But you don't need it.
Liquitex. I would recommend these guys. Actually, DecoArt has these fluid acrylics. The benefit to these is that they're already... a little bit more liquid versus this, which is high viscosity. And the fluid acrylics have high pigmentation, though, sort of more like a downgrade from golden paint, which would be
But remember,
my preference.
We paint miniatures differently than what professional painters are going to tell you to do. So if you want to know what paint, you're going to spend more for a lot less paint, and it's all going to be watered down. Because, the high-end miniature paint is, very thin. Right? All the stuff I've seen is, a really... it's model paint, basically. Mm-hmm. It's thin model paint. It's more like a really liquid consistency. But I do know people, even with that, who water it down a little bit. So, yeah. It's about putting layers on. That's how you get the real nice gradients and... the more natural variety, I think.
Yeah, that's why these look like garbage right now.
Right, because they haven't been... they don't have the layers on them yet.
Yeah.
Right. But you're just doing the base
terrible.
coat.
Yeah, you're just trying to, at the beginning, you're just trying to block out, what's your base color.
Right. But yeah, I mean, I would consider that a problem player if they're that stuck in their ways, they're not willing to adapt to the group. Those are problem players. So those are the ones you need to have talks with and convince them to change their ways. Or at least do some meta and fall in line with the rest of the group,
Hey, dude.
So Melchior says, sounds like a plan. I seem to have a reasonably good color sense, so I expect I'd do okay with painting my own miniatures. Yeah, probably. Get some variety in brushes. I think that's important. And, there's great tutorials out there. There really are some great ones. There's like beginner one. I would start with some beginner ones. If you're good with color, then you'll be good to go.
I think that's probably people's biggest issue that I've seen in other groups is they're like, oh, I don't know what to paint, what color to paint this, or
that's my biggest issue.
They see what somebody else did and they're like, I never would have thought to use that color or those tones or any of that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's the biggest thing that people talk about.
Yeah, I agree.
In painting groups, anyway.
Are you in a bunch of them?
Yeah.
I was just asking. I don't know.
I'm more in the painting groups where people are just like, hey, here's what I did, though.
Yeah.
Not like the,
I feel like that's all of them.
Not like the tutorials.
There are no tutorial groups. The tutorial stuff's on, like, YouTube.
No, but not like I don't know how to do this. Like, people don't really ask for a lot of advice. They're just like...
It's less common, yeah, in general.
Picture. It's just a picture.
Right. Hey, Victor, thanks for joining. We'll see you next time, bud.
We should probably wrap up soon anyway.
That's fine. That is fine.
It's 10:30.
I will wrap up when you're done. You're doing that on the rest and then you're done?
Yeah.
Okay. So these are going to be tropical harpies?
Stop.
What? They are. I've got a brown harpy in there. It's a different type of harpy. It's a tropical one because it's got all like the beach colors. It's like Beach Boy colors. Where is my harpy?
Like Beach Boy colors?
Yeah, Beach Boys. Wish they all could be tropical harpies.
God, please don't sing.
That's how you sing it.
Please don't sing.
But that's how it goes.
That's not how it goes.
Yeah, it is. You've never heard that song?
0 out of 0 stars.
That's 100% how that song goes. All right, I'm going to find it. It's a broken one. Yeah, see? Here's my brown harpy.
That's kind of a cool,
Pose?
Yeah.
I think it is too. It's broken. Because, kids that always want to play with your damn miniatures. I'm so over them always wanting to play with the miniatures.
So Jimmy says, I'm colorblind, so I try to either mimic the colors they use in YouTube videos or ask my wife what color would go with what
That's
I want
tough.
to paint. So,
What type of colorblind? What colors?
Yeah, how
Because that makes a difference.
severe is that? Because, so I've known people before who still see relatively good tones, and if the tone
It's
is
the color
correct,
thing too, though.
Yeah, I know, but if the tone is correct, it's gonna look way different, but could be interesting. Depends on how severe it is. But
Melchior says, if I'd known that I'd have access to a scanner as I do these days, I might have waited so I could do the coloring in digitally. I have a friend who is blue-green colorblind. Helped him with that on at least one occasion. Yeah, I had an employee that I hired into a position where color was very important. And he didn't tell me he was colorblind for months. And it then made sense why he made so many mistakes. Because we used, so I worked in an electronics, an electronic contract manufacturer. And we used to make work instructions for the production floor. And the way we would denote polarity is they would have a red pin 1. The very first part you were supposed to install would also be red. Like the whole part would be on the visuals, the work instructions. And the next color was orange and so on, and then just went through all the colors. And then if you were supposed to check parts on the previous step, they were brown. Well, red, orange, and brown all looked the same to him.
Yep.
Except the shade might be slightly different if he squinted his eyes, he said. Like, I was so floored when I found this out. I was like, how come you waited this long to tell me you couldn't tell the difference between, these things? This is a pretty big deal. I was like, I'll work with you. And then at the time, right after that, I found out they made glasses that you could get to see it. He's like, no, I'm too cool for glasses. I was like, are you kidding me? This kid. So
yeah.
I didn't last there but another couple weeks. I walked out for other reasons not long after that. They gave me an ultimatum. And yeah. So anyways. The company did, I mean. Yeah, I get it. I've known people colorblind though. Most people don't talk about it, I've noticed.
We require you to notify us at work.
You can't. It's a disability.
If you're
you got to be careful with that.
They don't fire you or anything like that, but we have a lot of
like you can't ask in the interview.
We have we have a lot of like visual aids and things like that are up in the warehouse that monitor your progress. So if we have people who are colorblind, they're not going to be able to see those properly. So we have to change the color gradient to a colorblind friendly, colors. Basically, like it's part of the program. You just have to switch it to colorblind. It's just not as natural.
Yeah, we had that too, actually.
So it's easier from a distance to see, green is good, red bad, right? But if you're colorblind, that doesn't work. So we keep them on their regular setting, and if people are colorblind, then we'll switch them over so that they are able to share in the fun that is data visualization.
Mm-hmm.
They're so pumped about it. They get super excited.
Yeah.
They don't.
Yeah, I remember that was when we found out he was colorblind. I remember that was one of the first things we figured out is, hey, is there like some kind of setting for the work instructions on our end that won't impact the output? And there was.
Yeah. Anyway.
And if not, you can get stuff on your computer that'll fix it too.
Mm-hmm.
Like settings. Magical things. Cool?
Yep.
Awesome. So who knows, but we will come back in a couple days or something, and maybe she'll finish these Reaper Bones Harpies. So anyways, Jimmy said, Melchior says a friend was making an Neverwinter Nights module, electronic RPG based on D&D 3.0. Yep, I remember that game. And Magic class items were supposed to have blue writing, but he'd made the writing green. Was an easy fix for me. Jimmy Cunningham. I have friends that pick on me about it, even at work. It don't bother. I don't know I can't imagine how you would pick on someone about it. That doesn't make sense to me. Like, I wouldn't go, you're colorblind. Like, I don't know.
Sometimes, I don't know. I had an ex-boyfriend who's colorblind, and so sometimes it'd be funny because he'd wear, brown shoes with black socks and navy pants. So you can't, you have to,
I understand how people dress is a big deal when they're colorblind. I get that.
It's more just,
That's why they all have, the same color wardrobe, and not all. But some people, that's what they do to fix it.
Yeah, they'll just, put it in specific spots,
Yeah. Melchior says, I also set up a table of colors and their values for him, so all he has to do now is select from a list. That makes sense. So, anyways, I think we're going to wrap up. It's raining here. We're going to go and hit the sack because it's, almost 11. We got to be up in the morning. Kids will be up in, 6 hours. So, lovely stuff there. But hope you guys enjoyed this. We will be back in the next day or two, maybe 3, to finish these bad boys up. And if you guys are looking for more, content, we've got. I actually just put up an interview today with John Four from Role Playing Tips that I thought was a pretty good conversation. So if you guys are interested, go check that out. And Jimmy says a lot of my early minis were monochromic. I get it. Hey, Jimmy, thanks for joining. I don't think I've seen you in here before. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. I'd love to have you around again. We do this a couple nights a week. Just talk with the chatters. And it's always a good time. So, night, Melchior. I'm hoping the rain does, but it's really humid. I'm really like warm right now. So, Cameron came back just in time for us to end.
Sorry, Cameron.
Cameron, you missed everything. Now you got to go back and watch it.
Oh, yeah. Bummer.
But yeah, if this is your first time, hit the subscribe button, give us a like, and we'll see you guys next time. Game on.